Dear student, today present a topic called regarding about separation of different types of cocoons. Introduction. After the cocoons are completely formed, they are removed from the montages and the surrounding floss is removed. The cocoons are harvested only after ensuring that the spinning is complete and the mature larvae contained in the cocoons have metamorphosis into pupa. Even soon after pupation, the cocoons are not immediately disturbed as the pupal skin is still very soft, pale yellow in color and it can be easily injured. The cocoons are collected from the montages when the pupae become completely colored and their skin has hardened. The number of days from mounting to completion of pupation varies with the strains of the silkworm. It also varies with temperature. Usually at a temperature of 22 to 23 degrees Celsius, the duration is 4 days and 12 hours following mounting, but it is only 4 days if the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. The temperature required for pupation in most of the silkworms are little more than 10 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature for pupation is slightly varies depending upon the strains of the silkworm. In bivoltine silkworm, it is slightly lower but somewhat higher in the European race. The period of harvesting of cocoons during spring and late autumn season, the silkworms are needed 7 to 8 days after mounting. The same for summer and autumn silkworms are 6 to 7 days after mounting. However, as already mentioned, since there is a variation in the pupal period depending upon the silkworm strains and temperature, the above mentioned harvesting period of cocoons should be considered as a general standard while actually carrying out the operation. A sample cocoon should be split open to see the condition of the pupa inside the cocoon, and then time for harvesting the cocoon should be determined. If the harvesting is delayed, the cocoons will become extremely dry, particularly in the case of spring cocoons. Before they become dry, the oozy fly often cuts a hole in them and comes out. Therefore, there should be no delay in the harvesting and transportation of cocoons. The spring cocoons often have oozy flies present inside the cocoons, and therefore either the cocoons should be dried early or some measures should be taken to prevent the escape of the oozy flies. The harvested cocoons are kept either in trays or in some other proper place. If too many cocoons are piled up in a small area, their quality deteriorates. Therefore, the cocoons should not be piled up on above the other, but instead of spreading out on a flat surface. Selections of cocoons as a raw material for silk reeling are difficult and any carelessness result in serious loss. Selective purchase of cocoons in an open market is very difficult. It is due to absence of determined standards of quality for cocoons and standard methods of testing. In sericulturally advanced countries, cocoons are of good and uniform quality which favors test reeling. In country like India, inferior quality of multivotin race cocoons are produced on testing of cocoons prior to transaction are not used. The cocoon quality is done by application of empirical method derived from experience in the cocoon trade and reeling industry. The cocoon testing includes primary inquiries, visual examination, tactile and numerical tests. Objectives. The end product of silkworm rearing is harvesting of cocoons. The rearing activities influence the production and quality of cocoon which finally reflect on the price fixation. Since rearing is skilled job never confirms 100% result. All the cocoons in a montage are not uniform in quality. There will be double cocoons and flimsy cocoons in addition to good cocoons. The flimsy cocoons contain very little silk and are not fit for proper reeling. The cocoon crop definitely contains defective or bad cocoons which reduce the price of cocoon and silk quality. Further, the cocoons are basic requirements for reeling industry requires a good quality cocoons. Every reeler looks for good quality cocoons. Thus, quality cocoon production play a vital role in the rearing, grainage and reeling industry. It has lot of impact at every level of agriculture aspect. Keeping in view of all the factors, after cocoon harvest, they are methodologically and technically sorted the cocoons before price fixation. It benefits the rearers and reelers. The technical aspects related to sorting of cocoons and types of cocoons, their identification and calculations are detailed in their chapter for the benefit of the learner. Sorting of cocoons. Among the harvested cocoons, there are normal cocoons, slightly defective cocoons, highly defective cocoons, double cocoons and unhealthy cocoons. It is necessary to reject the defective cocoons. This is known as sorting of cocoon. Sorting of cocoon is carried out mainly for double, thin-shelled, dead, dirty, loose-shelled, very thin and transparent, thin middle shell, framed adherent and irregular cocoons. All these are carefully separated and rejected. Only the good cocoons are normal and picked up for further checking. The mature larvae first spin the cocoon, cotton or floss which serves as the initial basis for the spinning of cocoon and the montage. It is within floss that various types of cocoons depending upon the strain of the silkworms are spun. When a cocoon is plucked from the montage and its floss is removed, the actual cocoon is obtained. Preliminary inquiries. Superior quality of cocoons can be harvested by quality seed. However, regional and seasonal variation influence cocoon quality. Production of quality cocoons are influenced by various factors. The silk yarn, that is the end of product produced by the reeler, is affected by several factors. Quality of cocoons, skill in reeling techniques, mechanical efficiency of reeling machines. Thus, the reeler should give importance to the quality of cocoons while purchasing. He should follow the following while purchasing by visual inspection and feeling by hands. Uniformity in color, shape and size. Built up cocoons. Tightness at the end of the cocoons. Fully matured pupa within the cocoons. Presence of low percentage of defective cocoons. The high percentage of defective cocoons in a lot when reeled results in lower percentage of reelability, higher percentage of silk waste and low yield of silk yarn, increase in the end data, variation in the denier affecting the quality of silk such as evenness, neatness, cleanness and increase in the number of winding breaks, poor luster and color in the silk yarn. The quality and quantity of cocoons depends on the occupants and care during rearing and mounting. The dates of mounting, race of silkworm, type of chandrika are essential details. Cocoons lots containing immature cocoons are not preferred by reeler. Visual examination of cocoons. The cocoon lots are critically observed to detect melted cocoons. It is detected by purified smell emanating from the cocoon's heap. For confirmation, open palm is thrusted into the pile of cocoons. Melted cocoons occur when live cocoons are heaped without aeration. These cocoons are poor in reelability. Uniform cocoons are obtained by good seed proper rearing methods. Size variation indicate that either the seed used was bad or improper rearing or the lot was a mixture of small lots collected from different sources. These different sized cocoons increases cost of production. Urinated cocoons have poor reelability and are uneconomical for reeling. Cocoons should not be too flossy. The floss has to wet cocoons when yielding silk for reeling. These bad cocoons are totally avoided while purchasing. Tactile and numerical tests. When the palm is thrust into a heap of cocoons, if it is cool and moist, it is recognized that the lot contains immature cocoons. These cocoons make a muffled thudding sound instead of a rattling sound made by mature cocoons. If there is no sound, cocoons confirm to have a dead pupa sticking to the inside the cocoon shell. Such cocoon is not selected for reeling. These cocoons should feel firm and full when gently squeezed. Other aspects to testing are to find out average weight of individual cocoons. In multi-voltine races, cocoons are harvested on fifth count between 1000 and 1500 per kg, whereas uni or bivoltine races ranges between 600 to 700. Depending on the number of cocoons per kg, and individual cocoon weight is calculated. Final evaluation is made only after identification of unreliable and double cocoons found mixed in a lot. After then, price is fixed using standard methods. For fresh cocoons, gross weight of the lot weight is sampled on to be 2250 kgs is 4.5 kgs. 4500 kgs 6 kgs, above 4005 kgs 7.5 kgs. For dry cocoons 825 kgs 1.8 kgs, 1650 kgs 2.4 kgs, above 1650 kgs 3 kgs. The above samples are weighed and kept safe for testing. The farmer delivers the cocoons to the reeler and accepts the minimum price accepted for the lot. The final amount will be paid test report. Then the cocoons are sorted into reelable and unreelable cocoons. Several types of defective cocoons are sorted. The percentages of each of these cocoons is separately calculated and recorded. Then the percentage of cocoons actually available for reeling are obtained. 1/3 of the reelable cocoons are retained for test reeling and the remaining used for the testing of the following items: size of the cocoons, compactness, grain or wrinkle, weight of cocoons, weight of silk cell, percentage of silk cell. All the results are recorded and reserved cocoons are subjected for reeling test. The cocoons are cooked and reeled with thread speed ranging from 150 to 210 meters per minute. Generally, 7 cocoons are taken at each end for reeling. Results are calculated and recorded on the following items: average length of reelable cocoon filament, reelability ratio, diameter of cocoon filament, quantity of reelable cocoon filament, raw silk percentage, neatness defects. All these values help in estimating the quantity and quality of the raw silk of that particular lot. The cocoon classification is based on quality and reelability. Raw silk quality is based on uniformity in size of the thread and frequency of distribution of knots. Thus, priority is given to the length of the silk wave available for casting, as longer length ensures better evenness. Denier determines the size deviation in the raw silk. The higher the denier of the wave, the greater will be the size deviation. For higher the denier, original estimation on the length is suitably adjusted according to the denier size of the cocoon filament for every 0.5 denier. The uniformity of size and shape of the cocoons influences the size deviation of the raw silk. Further adjustment is made according to the excellent first, second, third or fourth classes. The final estimation after this adjustment is called the cocoon quality mark. On the basis of quality mark, cocoons are classified into 10 grades. Defective cocoons. These cocoons are not suitable for economic reeling of raw silk. Thus, these are stored out as their presence reduces the quality and price of the silk and loss to the reeler. Immature cocoons. This is a defect of untimely harvesting of cocoons. These cocoons produce a muffled thudding sound when shaken. Black stained cocoons. These are dotted with black stains outside. These cocoons are, when gently squeezed, exude a bad smell due to putrefaction of pupa. These cocoons spoil healthy cocoon. Rusty cocoon. The cocoon shows rust color on the silk shell. These cocoons are formed when the intestinal fluid of mature one falls on cocoons already formed. This produces patches of rusty color. Mute cocoons. This results when the pupa is dead and stick to the inside the cocoon shell. These cocoons make to sound when shaken. The inside the decaying pupa releases a putrefying body fluid which also stains the silk shell. Spotted cocoons. These cocoons are normal and healthy, but spots or stains are formed. These spots are due to various reasons. These are sorting in badly ventilated and damp storerooms, defective ventilation of cocoon conditioning chamber. Brownish black or yellow spots are due to the development of cocoon green mold. Undersized cocoons. These are below normal size and contain a thin silk shell. These cocoons are to be separated and related separately. Thin ends are weak points cocoons. These cocoons shell layer is extremely thin either at one end or both ends of cocoons. Certain silkworm breeds are prone to thin type of damage. Low temperature and high humidity during the grown-up silkworm rearing stage and low temperature and dry condition during cocooning can also produce this type of defect. These cocoons get waterlogged and become unreelable when put into cooking basin. Malformed cocoons. These cocoons show many defective forms, that is, abnormal shape, pressed, non-uniform silk texture. The silkworm breeds is mostly responsible for the formation of deformed cocoons, but they are also produced when the cocoon crop is poor and when the structure of the cocooning frame is not suitable. Calcified cocoons. These cocoons contain pupa or chrysalids which are destroyed by a fungus called Botrytis basina. Inside stained and dead worm cocoons. The cocoons get stained on the inside of the cocoon shell because of the fluid coming from the worm inside that has died or from a damaged pupa. Cocoons with frame marks. The cocoons have mark of the cocooning frame etc. on their shells. Such cocoons are produced when immature silkworms are mounted or when the structure of the cocooning frame is not appropriate. Thin shelled cocoons. These are cocoons with a thin cocoon shell layer. A large number of cocoons of this type are produced when the cocoon crop is generally poor. Loose knit or fragile cocoons. These cocoons are also called as straw bag. This indicates that the shell loosely woven with open spaces between groups and layers making up the shells. These cocoons contain poor silk and get waterlogged. These cocoons cannot be reeled. Fumigated cocoons. Some rearers adopt to fumigate formalin in mounting room to prevent the fungus which causes calcification of cocoons. The fumes of formalin make the sericine layer insoluble, making imperfect for reeling. When sulfur is used as a fumigant, it greatly damages the silk shell. Such cocoons become waterlogged and become unfit for reeling. Double cocoons. Silkworms usually spin one cocoon per larva. Such cocoons are called single cocoons. However, at a time, two or even more larvae together spin a single cocoon, which is called a double cocoon. The proportion of double cocoons formed depends upon the strains of the silkworm. Usually, it is large in the Japanese race and less in the European race. There are some strains which never spin double cocoons. In the strain Ukiya Tasanken, the formation of double cocoon is a common feature. These cocoons are spun by two or more silkworms together. These cocoons are large, coarse, abnormal in shape and irregular. Hereditary factors affect the formation of such cocoons. But mounting of over-matured cocoons and dense mounting also can induce the formation of such kind of cocoons. Even in the same strain, the proportion of the double cocoons varies with the external condition prevailing during mounting. For example, when over-mature larvae are mounted on the frame, the percentage of double cocoons increases. Also, when too many mature larvae are mounted, there is an increase in number of double cocoons. The proportion of double cocoons also varies with the temperature during mounting. A higher temperature results in a larger number of double cocoons than a lower temperature. It is difficult to reel the fibers the same way as from single cocoon. Usually, the double cocoons are used for making fluff silk or shabby yarn. Therefore, it is not desirable to the rear a silkworm strain which often spins double cocoons. However, silk fabric of a special kind can be prepared by using the silk yarn obtained from double cocoons, and this fabric does fetch some money. Hence, some of the silkworm strains which spin double cocoons in large number are being reared, and of their total cocoon yield about 50% is double cocoons. Mold cocoons. Striped or dried cocoons are generally stored. Mold fungus attacks on cocoons when storeroom is badly ventilated and damp. These cocoons are not laid properly and result in more waste. Pierced cocoon. Certain silkworm breeds are more prone to the formation of such cocoons. These cocoons are pierced by maggot of flypest. These are not reelable. Good cocoons. The cocoon quality is an important factor for any sericulture. It is vital for grainage, rearing and reeling aspects. Since most of the activity in sericulture is confined to silkworm rearing, the quality cocoon production has to good crop result and good price. However, good quality cocoons have good market, and these cocoons fetch more to the reeler also. Quality cocoon production is influenced by various factors starting from silkworm seed race. The rearing activities are main for obtaining better quality cocoons. Good cocoons should have the following features: uniformity in color, shape and size, good hardness and wrinkleless, less flaws, tightness at the end of the cocoons, fully matured pupa within the cocoon, good shell ratio, reliability, filament length and denier, presence of fewer defective cocoons, high silk content rendita. Summary: quality of cocoons directly affects the reliability and raw silk production. Study of both physical and commercial character is an important for economic reeling and quality of related products. Among the entire commercial aspects, shell ratio, filament length and denier are the most important. However, other aspects are also considered while selecting the cocoons for reeling. Cocoon testing includes primary inquiries, visual examination, tactile and numerical tests. While selecting the cocoons, first they are visually examined for quality assessment. Since high percentage of defective cocoons causes loss to the reeler, after taking the samples, defective cocoons are identified and stored. The percentage of good defective cocoons are identified and stored. The percentage of good defective cocoons is calculated. Shell ratio, filament length and denier are also calculated from the sample cocoons. Cocoons are classified based on the quality and readability. Good cocoons are good for reeling.